And welcome to
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hello, it's Dawn here, and I am joined, as always, by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett. How you doing, Matt Pickett? How was your week?
Good. Yeah, pretty good. This is the first week of actual orientation for orienting students coming in to be first year students, and the ones at the beginning of the summer are the go-getters, and they got their stuff together, and they're really fun, interesting people to talk to. Dawn, when we get into late July, those last two stragglers, man, they're special. They're special, and they need a little extra love.
That. Yeah.
But right now we're in it's really easy right now kind of phase, and there's still all the classes still opening. So I'm good. Things are just zipping along for me. So how are you doing?
Nice. I'm doing well. I've been working on another project here at home. I don't know if I told you this on the show before, that I was reupholstering my couches.
No, what? You're making curtains, I think was the last thing you told us about.
No, my Roman shades are done. I'm a designer. I don't like the way they were designed. I did some retrofitting, but I haven't finished them both, but they're working. They're great. And then I was going to get, so when I got Tosh, I have faux leather couches, and I have 2 couches. And then when I got Pepe 2, they would race around and their nails would puncture this faux leather. Now with leather, it's not as, it doesn't matter. It just builds character. But with faux leather, it just looks like tiny. You couldn't notice them unless you looked, really. So I was kind of looking for new furniture. I said, I'm going to get new furniture when Tosh turns 2. Well, then I was looking at stuff and I really didn't like anything. And the things that I kind of liked were $10,000 a piece. And it's just I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, maybe they'll get scratched. So anyway, I saw some designs that I liked, and I designed, it's kind of like a cushion, like a pillow top. I don't know if you've seen those kind of couches.
Sure. Yeah.
And plus I wanted them filled with the best memory foam and the best cotton and down and whatnot. And the fabric I picked is gorgeous. I mean, it would have been $40,000 for these couches. So I've been just slowly but surely ticking away at getting the cushion parts done. And then now I'm making the underneath part. But because of the design, so I kept my furniture and I'm just kind of fitting the new upholstery on it. So I'm covering that and then adding pillow tops, if that makes sense.
All right.
And oh my gosh, so comfortable. And I wanted them to be comfortable too, because if I have an overnight guest or whatever, they do fold out. So they're just, I don't even know if I'm going to go in my bed ever again. I think I'm just going to sleep on my new couch.
Dawn, so we have a pillow top for our mattress, one of those things you can add on to it. It wasn't part of the mattress itself.
Right.
And I never thought about the idea of putting pillow tops into your couch cushions. So I think we need to expand this, actually. I think pillow tops.
I should market it.
Yeah. Yep. Like inside your shoes, on your, in your car seat, stools, somehow in the shower. I don't know how, but I think just everywhere, pillow top, everything.
Just like a butt. You could just make one for your butt, strap it on, and be done for the day. Your butt and your back, right?
Just walking around with pillows strapped to your posterior. Yes.
It would look so great.
We have just glimpsed the future, Dawn. That's you're jumping a time travel machine 100 years in the future. You'd see everyone with pillows on their butts at all times. I think you're gonna start a revolution. It's amazing.
Yeah. Right, so I was working on that for a while after the Roman shades, and I don't work constantly because it's hard for me with my neck injury and all that. So I can only do a little. So I just do a little at a time, but I'll be glad when it's done so I can put all my stuff away. Sewing machine and stuff. So we have a very low flying plane above us. It sounds like a little plane, like a 2-seater type.
Mhm.
And they make loud noises. So hopefully you didn't hear all that.
I did not. No, I feel like a lot of
But
this stuff that, you know, the technology we have in the 21st century will
StreamYard is, yep.
it blocks out that noise somehow. I don't know how it does it. It's amazing.
I
amazing.
know. It's really, really good. So yeah, so that's what's going on with me. And then okay, so 2 things.
Okay.
Okay, so my allergies have been acting up like 40% of the entire human race, right?
Mhm.
Because it was a different kind of winter and all that. But Tuesday I woke up. Okay, they're doing some work in our build, like in my apartment downstairs from me. So I heard them, and I mean work. I don't know what happened down there, but they're doing work. And Tuesday they turned off the water for just a short bit. And you know, because when you turn the water back, I didn't know they turned it off, but when I turned the water back on for myself, it was like,
Yeah.
and I jump a mile and it's like, ah, and then I realized, oh, okay, they turned the water off. But then after that, it smelled really weird. Like, and I live by the ocean. And so like around 8:00, we get kind of a weird, stinky algae fish smell sometimes, but it smelled kind of like that. And so long story short, it was even worse today. And I didn't ask about the smell. I just asked about the water being turned off. I just like, can I use my water? And then, so today it was even worse. And so there's this product called Odoban, and it's made with eucalyptus and other stuff like that. It's supposed to eliminate odors and be a disinfectant. And the reason I know about it goes way back. And every time I've had to deal with the Odoban, I get kind of sick from it. But I thought, okay, well, I'm going to put the Odoban down all my drains, because I was talking to my landlord and he's like, no, we didn't actually turn the water off. They were working on drywall downstairs. And I'm like, ugh. I mean, have you ever, years ago in my home in Orange County, like a mouse or something got between the walls and died?
Yeah.
It's just, oh, that it's yeah.
Yeah, so you can't track it down when a mouse like dives between the walls or whatever. You're trying to find the smell and it lingers until it goes away. Yeah.
It's awful. It's only and so it almost is like that. And I'm thinking, well, maybe they opened the drywall up and I don't know. But the guy's going to come tomorrow. And anyway, so long story short. So I put Odoban down all the drains because it said to do that. I looked and I was like, this, me and Odoban don't have a great history, but I have some here. And also for the cat, it's like a really strong, I don't know what else beside the essential oils, but it's really strong and cats can't, it's harmful to cats. So she's been outside most of the day. Anyway, poured it down and I thought it would be okay just pouring it down the drains because it's going to go away, right?
Sure, right.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
No.
Wrong.
Uh-oh.
I can't smell anything but Odoban, and I'm like, I've been taking, and it's been making me like I've been taking Benadryl all day. I must have taken 8 by now because I was sneezing and my nose was running, and so this is me
Dawn,
tonight drinking.
I have so many things to say, Dawn.
Drinking Gatorade, no cocktail, and Benadryl.
So
okay.
we're not built to take that many Benadryl. Just just a heads up on that. That's a lot of Benadryl in your system there, Don. But the thing that really got me laughing that I need to explain, I feel like, is you said, I know about Odoban from way in the back. It was a long story, something like that. And the thing is, the longer I've known you, Don, the more of like your like bananas stories from your life you've managed to like tell me, mostly off air, in fact. And so I can only imagine what this Odoban story is. It's like somewhere in your past when you were almost became like a Russian slave, and then you got recruited by the KGB, and there was a moment where you had to like cover up the smell of a body using Odoban. I don't know. It's got to be something like that.
Well, I did consider becoming a spy for the CIA. I was thinking about that.
There we go. Yep, exactly.
But well, no, and I think it's just the power of smell that brings you back. But this story is not very exciting. It was just I was
Dylan Odoban. Yeah,
director of design for Volcom. And do you know Volcom?
No.
It's a big company, sportswear, skatewear, skiing, just active sportswear. It's like Quicksilver. What brands? I'm trying to think you would have. I mean, it's an international brand. Anyway, but I was with them from when they were just like practically got their first office. Anyway, so we came in one day and there was just this horrible smell out by the sewing room and stuff. So it was really bad, and we couldn't figure out what it was either. So I did the Odoban, and it was horrible. Like the whole building was like, what is that smell? It was, everybody was sneezing, and that's the only memory I have of that. We never did figure out what that.
I thought it'd be much wilder than that, but okay.
No, this one, I have many wild stories. This one was, it's just because of the smell I think about that day. We all walked in and we're like, what is that? Dawn! So I was kind of in charge of that, I guess, or I put myself in charge and got the Odoban on board, and that's, yeah. But that time, I used to like the whole gallon. It was just ridiculously potent.
Oof. It's funny you talk about smells, because just tonight my older kid was like, hey, could you play some clarinet for me? And I was like, sure, if you go get it from the basement. And so they brought my clarinet up, and I haven't played it in like 5 or 6 or 7 years. And there's the smell attached to it when you this isn't like my clarinet smell bad. That's not the story. So just there's not like a mouse inside my clarinet case. No, I opened it, and the smell of an instrument that sits for a while, they all have like very distinct smells, and I think it's because of the cork that is like at the joints of the clarinet. Right, it develops a smell like an old bookstore. Right. Very similar smell. I was like, oh man, I love that smell. And just like thinking, like just the thoughts that come back to your head as you're playing a clarinet, like you do, and you're smelling like that clarinet smell. It was lovely. It was lovely. Made me think about living in Wisconsin and teaching in Oshkosh, because that's where I got the clarinet from a guy I taught with in Oshkosh. So
very, very cool. Well, that's the thing, that smells do bring back memories. Hello, Lorenzo, Emma. Hello, and Dawn is an innovator. Yes, I am actually.
I mean, Lorenzo, I hope you're still here after we've talked through our world of smells. To those who are listening at home, thank you for listening this far into the podcast. We'll talk about football eventually here. So
eventually we'll get there. All right. So so that's it. So I have fraternizing with the enemy.
Just write that. You want to go with that?
Sure. Okay.
All right. So for those who aren't familiar, this is Dawn's series, Fraternizing in the Enemy, where Dawn talks about a player from a different team who we find fascinating. I love it. Go ahead.
Right. And this is kind of a little sub-series from that, and I'm calling it Keep Your Friends Close and Your Frenemies Closer, a short series. And hyphen, most ridiculous waste of time, the Bears. Okay. Yeah, all in fun. Always. So I wanted to listen to content, and my hands have been busy because I'm trying to do this stuff, and I can't like be scrolling and stuff. So I have to put things on. So I went on YouTube and I looked up Jordan Love, because I was really interested in hearing more about what outside, because I mentioned him being mentioned in the national editions everywhere. So I looked up Jordan Love to see if there was anything new. And somehow or another, I got all this Bears content because they're talking about Jordan Love so much. Isn't that interesting?
Of course,
so it's kind of fun. And Emma says, new slogan for the Bears. Most ridiculous.
Zing. Yes, it on Emma. Most ridiculous waste of time. Yes.
All right. So, excuse me. So the first one comes from NBC Sports Chicago.
Mhm.
And this is the Bears 2023 schedule release. So this is a week old. Can Justin Fields lead the Bears to playoff in year 3? And why did that come up when I was looking for Jordan Love? Well, because they went through their schedule like we're all doing. We're going through the schedule. Who are we going to play? Who's the shoe in? Who's not? I mean, there's so many unknowns with a new quarterback, right? So yeah. And so so basically it was kind of fun to listen to. And he had categorized and he basically was, let's see, I don't want to make sure I didn't mix this up with the other one. No, I almost mixed it up with the next one. Okay. So so let me just say it's an interesting listen. I'm not going to say too much about it, but it was interesting because they absolutely, and this is fine. They're just really believing in their quarterback, which is fine. They should. Like, what are you going to do? Even if they were, and then, but they think that they're in a shoe-in for beating the Packers. It's like a given because Aaron Rodgers isn't here anymore. And they're just kind of counting it out. And so I thought that was kind of cool. Like, it was kind of interesting hearing their side of it. Of course, we're like, nah. And they're very excited that they're playing the Packers at home as for their season openers, which of course. But so that was an interesting thing to go through their schedule. And then the other thing I noticed about it was they're like really happy if they have like a 50-50 win-loss record. And just the contrast between the way our leaders at the Packers and our media and our fans talk, like we have to go to the playoffs. We have to get in the playoffs at least. And we want a Super Bowl ring. And so, I mean, it's great to be realistic, but it's just kind of interesting to hear how tamped down their expectations are. They might have a happy surprise and do better than that. Who knows? Yeah,
I mean, it's good to have low expectations, given how last season went. And I mean, like, I'm not trying to say this to be mean, but it seems like if this season, if they can show that they have the right quarterback and can build an offense around him, like that seems like a win for the team. And so if that means, the offense is good and the defense is questionable and they get like a 50-50 record, like that's a huge improvement from last year. So like, yeah. But when you put it in contrast to like what we've experienced as Packers fans, it makes me want to cringe and hearing that. But like, I don't know, Don. I feel like our floor is 6 wins and our ceiling is, I don't know, like 13 wins. So that's the thing for Bears fans to say, we're definitely going to sweep the Packers this year. It's like, well, I'm not going to say you're not going to, but I'm going to say you don't know that because we don't know. We just don't know what it's going to be like with Love under center. And like, it's probably going to be kind of, rocky at times. And I think it's going to be really good eventually. But like, I don't know. I think we could beat the Bears both times, frankly, but we just don't know. So if you were ever to hear me be like saying like, oh, we're going to beat the Bears both times, like before the season starts, like you should say like, Matt, you don't know that. Like, right. you don't know. There's no way to know that at this point. It's unknowable.
That's right. There is no way. I will say I'm kind of jealous that they got that right tackle I wanted. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Did they get Darnell Wright?
Yes.
Is that who they got?
Yes.
Yeah, they got one of the Darnells. Yeah.
Darnell. So he'll help Justin if he starts right away, which they're saying he will. So yeah. So it's almost tempting to go to Soldier Field for that game.
I know. I thought about it. I'm still thinking about it.
I'm considering, as an option because the way the schedule kind of works out for September and October, it's kind of like, so I'm going to talk to my people and make sure I know what I'm doing. But
talk to your people.
Yeah, I talk to my people. First, I got you through next week. So next week, I won't be here, everyone. Next week, I have a surgery.
I was starting to laugh because I was like, yeah, you got to get through next week. Don't we? I was like, no, you actually have something going on.
I actually have to live through another surgery.
Right. Literally have to get through next week. So
I literally have to wake up.
Fingers crossed, Don. Yeah. So we'll have a guest host next week, actually, as a result. Yeah.
We're gonna have a guest host, Katie Sunderman.
That's right.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it. I don't think about my surgeries too much, but I keep getting these reminders to do something with the hospital. I need to actually look at those tonight
That's probably
so
a good
that they
idea.
don't cancel my surgery.
Yep.
And I think I have an appointment with the anesthesiologist. Oh, I might have missed it. Maybe that's why they were called.
Oh my God, Don.
Oh. Oh, I just looked at my calendar.
Don may have missed an important appointment today.
Well, it said May 2nd, and I'm like, oh, that's a system error. I'm just going to ignore it. Like May 2nd already happened.
Uh-huh.
And I was getting all these texts. So I was just like, it'll work its way out. Oh, well.
oh man. Okay, Don, that's awesome.
Okay. So that was so then another interesting one was really cool was Under Center podcast. Under Center, it's a podcast. Can Justin Fields be an MVP candidate for the Bears in year 3? And so they talked about all of that, and they're just wondering. Yeah, they have high hopes. They had some really interesting interviews from their GM and their assistant GM, and they had, I forgot who the player was who was the guest on there, but wasn't that important to me, so I wasn't taking notes like I normally would for the show. But I just find it fascinating to like peer into other teams' culture and just the whole. It's just so different. It's cool, and I respect the Bears. I respect all the other teams in the fan bases, almost all of them. They are more worried about the Vikings, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings are more of a known quantity. Like, you have a better sense of what to expect from them. I don't think they're going to win the division this year, but but who knows? Who knows?
Right. They have a small window right now where the Packers are kind of regrouping a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small window, though, folks. It's very small, so have fun. Have fun.
Yep.
Enjoy in the little crack that we give you. It's fine. We can be generous that way. And then the third one is ranking the quarterbacks the Bears play in 2023.
Oh, okay.
From Patrick Mahomes to Jordan Love. He had 4 different categories. I don't remember the names of the categories. I'm really bad at my job. But the last one was something like poopy or something really just derogatory. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, like hope, like one is like rock star, and then there's 2 levels down, and then the 4th one was like poopy. Mm-hmm. And they have Jordan Love at the absolute bottom. Which is interesting.
Poop is knowable. This is not knowable.
It's not knowable. And they weren't conceding that. Not one person was like, well, we really don't know. But they were just kind of saying, okay, he doesn't have a resume yet. So, but,
Bears fans gonna Bears fan.
And they're like, since when would this ever work? When, he sat on the bench for 3 years, and I was like, Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. He did that.
Who's been watching, and what did Aaron Rodgers do? Exactly.
So I was like, okay, all right, you have fun, Bear fans. Yeah. But it was kind of fun. So that was fun. I didn't mean to do that. I was actually going to just, submerge myself in Jordan Love content, and I ended up with the Bear stuff.
Well, I love that idea too of like seeing what does the NFL look like through other fandom's eyes, other fan bases' eyes. Like I try to be somebody who can like put myself in other people's shoes and like try to understand where they're coming from and try to understand other perspectives. Like I really try actively to do that a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. I don't as much with fan bases, but now you have me kind of intrigued on to try to do that for myself. And like what is it like being a Texans fan? Like that must be rough. Like how do they see this season? Like what are their hopes? Or a team like,
what are they talking about?
The opposite extreme, like being a Chiefs fan, like is that like it has been for Packers fans for so long, like nerve wracking, because like every little slip up means you might not win the Super Bowl that you're expecting to win. Like, do the Texans fans have more fun because they don't have expectations? Like, what is that like? I don't know. I'm just glad that I don't have expectations. That my only expectation is like that they will try their best. Gosh darn it. and we'll have a good time seeing them grow together. And I think that's just pure and delightful.
It's pure and delightful, and it just reminds me of something on one of these podcasts. I think it was, anyway, whatever one it was. They mentioned how last year they beat the Commanders. And they brought it up like 3 times, and I was like, wow.
You got to take your win streak down, I guess. Yeah, look for the small victories in life. Today a bird didn't poop on my head.
We're so spoiled. We're so spoiled as Packer fans. We really are. Sure. It's such a great, organization and stuff. So yeah. And so my intention on this keep your friends close and your frenemies closer short series is I was going to do this for the other 2 division rivals.
Ooh.
I'm going to have a really hard time listening to Vikings content. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
I'm going to have to plug my nose the whole time. So I'll probably do that next week when I'm recovering. Like, right. So I'm highly medicated and I'll be able to handle it. I'll be able to listen to Vikings content. And I like the Lions, and I felt sorry for them for so long, but I think they're going to be really a player. They're going to be good. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, one thing they mentioned on one of these podcasts about the Bears was that they're in dire need of an edge rusher, and I was thinking, and they're going to look for a veteran because they have like a lot of money and a lot of cap space.
A lot of cap space, yeah.
And so I think it's like $100 million they have to play with, right?
That's ridiculous like that, yeah.
So we know this guy named Zadarius Smith, right? If you're looking for, so I was just thinking how funny it would be if Zadarius went from the Packers to the Vikings to the Lions.
Totally.
Could happen.
Well, I mean, Zadarius did sign with who did he sign with? I can't think of it.
Oh, he signed?
Yeah, he did. Oh, the Browns. I want to say it's the Browns. I think it's the Browns. Oh. And Emma can throw it in the chat here if I'm wrong, or Lorenzo if you found that. I want to say Browns. But Emma did mention we have a history of having a competent front office and coaches, so we can not worry about this year. I like that. Emma confirms in the chat. It was the Browns, yes. Which
Zadarius goes to the Browns. Okay.
That really is fitting.
Fit. That's a good fit.
Yeah, it's a good fit because it's an evil organization, and that's the let's take on Deshaun Watson with all his allegations, which we can only call them allegations at this point, but we know what they were. Like a team whose head coach looks like he works on the Death Star, and so why not take on Zadarius Smith with all of his issues? Why not? They're a big tent for people with problems, I guess. So. Have fun.
I wonder if Zadarius has issues, or if it's just at the end of the season that he has like a big thing. Because I haven't really heard of him having issues during the season. Does he?
Well,
I know he wanted to be a captain.
Pattern of behavior. If you're making him a captain, he freaks out. I think that's what it is. So if the Browns want him to be good, they're going to say, "You're a captain." Second he walks in the door, and that's going to be hopefully good enough for him. So
yeah. Gotcha.
Have them, guys. Have them.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. Especially with the Bears. And so thank you again to the YouTube algorithms for giving me content that I didn't know I needed.
Thanks, Papa YouTube. Awesome. No, I love that, Don. I love that idea, like I was saying, of trying to see it through a different fan base's eyes. I like it.
Mm-hmm. It was fun. It was interesting. And honestly, I think when we do things like this, because I'm the same as you, I try to put myself in other people's shoes. I don't, I give a lot of slack, pretty forgiving. You had to do a lot for me to get really annoyed. But I'm sure I'm never going to be like as neutral as I would like to be. But I think it can really make us just appreciate and respect each other more too. Like while you're at the game. Yeah.
While you're living life, just getting to know people better and understanding and seeing things through perspective. I think it's something that someone's lacking in these times or whatever. That's so stupid, but more people could do more of it. Let's just say that. Yeah, no, it's not stupid. It is lacking. It is definitely lacking.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Maddie. So, what did you bring for superlatives this week?
Yeah, I've got three, and actually, I'm really glad that Emma's here in the chat tonight watching this. Thanks for being here, Emma. And again, thanks, Lorenzo. Because one of these actually is related to her a little bit. God, two of them are. That's weird. Emma, good night to be here. So my first one I have is best micro trend. And so this is a lot of stuff that came out like a little over a week. Well, no, a little less than a week ago. So we didn't talk about it last week because it was all kind of like happening on Friday and Saturday pretty much. So slightly old news, but still worth talking about. This micro trend is going to be the various posts that people made that were like, here's the Packers schedule in this kind of a thing. Like, for instance, Emma had, here's the Packers schedule in pictures of Pedro Pascal, with whom she is justifiably obsessed. He's beautiful. That was a really good one, Emma. Let's see. Aaron Alice had the one with pictures with Mark Murphy sledding, of course, her trademark. And then also Michael Allen did one that was pictures of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And so those three were the ones that I saw. There's probably others out there. Of course, last week you talked about the one with the Chargers with the Pop-Tarts. And also I had talked about Tyler Herrick's one that he did with like clips of Packers versus like each opponent, like highlights basically that were like awesome Packers plays. So that sort of like trend that was happening at the end of like last week into the weekend. Just wanted to shout that out, Emma and Aaron, and also I mentioned Michael Allen, who's who, by the way, all three of those folks really amazing follows. Emma is somebody who is definitely should have more attention. Emma, you're amazing, you're hilarious, we love you. So yeah, that was a great micro trend. That's my first one.
I love it. And wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
And since Emma's here in the chat, so Pedro is his name, his first name. He looks like another movie star. And so, and I don't watch that show, but I always look at all of her posts and I'm like, oh, this is fun, you know. But Emma, do you know, have you ever heard that before? And I'll figure it out. And I'll tweet it to you or message you.
I have a feeling, Dawn, you're going to find out that he looks like himself. And what I mean by that is he's been in more things than like most people realize. Like he only came on my radar.
Well, then maybe it is the same guy. Okay. Well, maybe it is the guy that I think he looks like.
It could be because like him. I was gonna say, like, I only knew about him because of The Mandalorian and Last of Us, but then I was like looking into the stuff he's been in. He's been in like a million things going back a long time, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I saw him in that like 15 years ago, and I had no idea it was like this guy because he looked totally different then. So could be you're actually imagining a different Pedro Pascal moment previously in his career. Could be.
I mean, the whole time I thought it was the person I was thinking it was, but then I don't know if it was Emma when she did all of those 32 or how many games, 18 games. I looked at him a little differently. He didn't look exactly like who I thought. And so then I went to think maybe okay, sorry, I'm just babbling, but yeah, and I didn't watch the Game of Thrones. I know. I'm like one of the few. And Emma says she's not sure who he looks like. I'll figure it out. I can't. I don't know what movie or show off the top of my head. And in fact, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, it could have been something from 40 years ago for all I know. So I don't think they're the same, but I'm going to get a photo of whoever this dude is, and I'm going to send it to you, Emma.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, Don, should I do my next one?
Yes, please.
My second superlative is coolest project. So this was announced not in this last week, but it was discussed on a podcast this week. Let me say what it was. So this is Tom Grassi's project to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, whatever the exact title is. And what he's doing is he's going to go to each of the NFL stadiums, basically a stadium a day. Like his travel schedule is crazy. But he mapped it all out to find like the most efficient route. He had people helping him kind of figure it out. He's got, I guess he has like events happening in every city he's going to go to. Okay. He's going to try to engage with like each of the fan bases to some degree, but also like meet up with like, you know, his own fans, like in each city. I don't think a lot of the details are out there in terms of like what those events are going to be. Cause I'm trying to figure that out for Cincinnati. Yeah. But he did in his initial video that he released. I think it was like on draft night, maybe on night.
Yeah. I knew he had an idea. I don't think it was draft night.
It was,
Yeah.
well, it was recently, whenever it was. I can't remember exactly. Yeah. And that initial video had like each city with the date. It would be like kind of like happening really fast. You had to kind of like, you know, pause and find it.
Right.
But so like the one for Cincinnati is on a Sunday, which is perfect. And I sent him a message saying, you know, hey Tom, the world's best Packers bar is actually just across the river in the greater, you know, Cincinnati metropolitan area. So maybe you want to check it out, you know, just a thing out there in case you weren't aware of that. But yeah, we'll see what's going on with that. But still, this idea of doing this to raise money for a good cause is, I think it's just amazing. Like,
it's
you know,
really
using,
cool.
Yeah, like using the platform he has to like try to make a difference. Like, come on, that's awesome. So
I love that.
Yeah. So he was talking about it on Pax What She Said. And so it was a really good episode because one, like Tom Grassi was there, he's talking about it, that's great, but also like the kind of questions that Maggie and Perry were asking him to kind of like get him to talk more about it were like very insightful. You know, they're both so smart. They both have such good, you know, football minds and just good minds, and the, you know, and they're good at interviewing folks. And my point is, so that part was good, but then they also talked about their thoughts on the Packers schedule for the year. And I would recommend, even if you don't, for whatever reason somebody's listening, they don't care about like this Tom Grassi fundraiser thing, at least go back and listen to the second half where they're talking about the schedule release, because like they're putting out things in there I hadn't thought about, you know, even after all the content I've, you know, consumed about people talking about the schedule. I was very impressed. So that was an excellent episode of Facts What She Said.
I love that. I was kind of paying attention, but not totally, because for some reason I thought he was going to each stadium for a game and it was going to be like through the season. I mean, each team. Yeah. It would have taken longer, but this is cool. So it's just going to be a month of traveling.
Yeah. It's going to be like June sanity.
Okay. So I have to try to get up to LA when he goes to the Chargers stadium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, he gets a twofer there, right? He gets the Chargers and the Rams all in one spot.
Oh, maybe he'll stay for 2 nights.
Who knows?
That'd be cool. Oh, that would be great to meet him.
I know, right? Seriously. It's a good dude. All right,
great.
Should I take my last one?
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. What else do you have?
All right, this one is kind of 2 in 1. It's two sides of a coin in a way. This is going to be happiest hello / saddest goodbye. So this is talking about 2 of my favorite podcasts. The happiest hello is that now that we're past all of the draft stuff and all of the fallout from the draft, the Pack a Day podcast schedule is getting back on track to like its normal rotation. And there's always like some like little tweaks coming out of the big shakeup during draft season. But you know, the important thing for you and me, Don, of course, is that the Wednesday Pack a Day crew is back. Dusty, Steve, Sarah were on this Wednesday. I didn't even realize it was going to happen this week, so I didn't even know till I turned on the podcast. I was like, oh my God, they're back. I'm so happy about that. That made me so very happy.
I thought it was this week. Cool. Yeah, I haven't listened yet.
Dusty even mentioned me at one point in the podcast. Thanks for the shout out, Dusty. It was kind of hilarious. And so really happy about that. But like I said, there's a sad thing too. The saddest goodbye. And this is again where Emma comes into this, because one of our favorite podcasts, in fact, my former favorite podcast, On Brandon Off Topic, officially announced this week that they're not going to be recording anymore, that the show is now extinct. Emma and I knew this because we're in like a group chat with the creators and a bunch of like the super fans. Right. But it's sad to hear, you know, because here's the thing. They developed a really nice community, and that's going to keep going. And that's the amazing thing about it, because though I'm sad to see the show end, the fact of the matter is that I made these amazing friends, you know, from it. And it needs to be said too, as I was pointing out, like it's being canceled because of Jimmy. It's all Jimmy's fault.
Again?
Come on, Jimmy. I mean, they all have like stuff going on. I mean, Aaron records 1 million podcasts a week, and you know, Todd, Jimmy, and Dan are now running Game on Wisconsin. And you know, Jimmy just had another baby in his family, so like there's just a lot of stuff going on. So like, I mean, it's, I don't mean to like, you know, drag them at all for real, because in the end, like I'm friends with Emma and Katie, you know, who's gonna be our guest host next week, and Aaron and Todd and Jimmy and a whole bunch of other people. You know, Robin, and I was on his podcast. He's been on our podcast, all because of that show. So it's just a moment of appreciation for this amazing podcast On Brandon Off Topic, while mourning and appreciating it at the same time.
Oh, well, yeah, that's I know that's important to you, and I never got to listen to that one, and I always enjoyed, even though I didn't know what was going on, everyone's commenting about it on Twitter, because it was just, you could tell how much fun you were having, and it was funny, and your comments and your breakdown that you do and all that was so fun. Well, you're right though, with there's only so much time in the day, priorities.
Yep.
Jimmy's got priorities. Family first.
That's really important. I mean, obviously that's something we talk to people about when they're on the show, is like, how does your family make this possible for you? And Jimmy's making the right move, I think, to give some of the time back to his family, not just have like too many irons in the fire. I mean, he's got little kids.
How many does he have now?
3.
Yeah.
3. Yeah. Woof. That's like, okay, so we have a lot of friends who have kids, right? As happens when you have kids. And it's, I think, universally the case that if you have 2 kids and like if you're 2 parents with 2 kids, that's manageable, because you can do man defense, basically, like one-on-one. But once you have 3 kids in the mix, like, forget it. You're doing zone. You can't really cover them all the time. It's rough. And so you'll see like these happy parents, I should say. Families are great. These happy parents with 2 kids go to have 3 kids, and they just look like the joy has left their eyes. The will to live is gone. They're like, I just need to get through this day and keep my 3 kids alive. But the funny thing about that too, Dawn, is that it doesn't change for those families, from what I've seen from my observations. When they have like 4, 5, 6, 7 kids, it's just the same. It's like 0, 1, or 2 kids is like one zone, and then 3+ kids is like the other zone, and there's just like a huge divide between them in terms of like how you can function as a human outside of your role as a parent. So God bless you, Jimmy and Des. Good luck.
We hope the joy doesn't leave your eyes.
Yeah.
My mother, so I'm one of 4 children, and my mother, they had us 4 children in less than 5 years.
Oh my God.
It was like blah, 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 blah.
Is that what it sounds like when babies come out, Dawn?
I mean, that's what I think. I don't know. I never had experienced it. So they just come falling out, bounce.
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah. And there you go. There's 4 of them. But I mean, now you barely blink and you're starting over. I think that's right. 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. 5 years in like 4 months ish. Wow. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's...
But
anyhow.
She was a stay-at-home mom for the most part when we were, at that point. So, but even then, but back in the day,
back in Lombardi's day, in Lombardi's
world of Wisconsin, actually his world was New York, but who's counting? The neighborhoods were the support.
Yeah.
So my mom would have, neighbors over for coffee, and there was and you had yards, and you're outside playing and things like that. Like if I had a kid, they wouldn't leave my side. But it's a good thing I didn't have a kid. I would have been a terrible parent, because I wouldn't have let them out. I would be so afraid that something would happen to them. And then I probably wouldn't pick them up because I'd be afraid I'm going to drop them.
Yeah.
And then I would, they would probably just live in a closet, and I would just throw food at them or something. I don't know what I would have done.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just saying I just had so many fears about being a parent. It's a good thing it didn't happen.
I get that. And it's interesting you say that, because one of the things that I think is difficult in this day and age of being a parent is that I don't feel like I can send my kids like to walk to school themselves, even though it's a totally doable walk, not because I don't trust them or I don't trust the, like that they're not going to get kidnapped or whatever. It's that I don't trust my neighbors not to call the police because there's kids out walking around, so it makes me think, like, is that why there might be people who might report, us to the police if our kids walk around because they think the kids aren't safe by themselves, where Just this morning I was telling some people about in the summer for me when I was a kid, it was my mom would buy like a pass, like a summer long pass to the community pool, and she'd literally pin it on our swimming suits. And
cute.
mom would go to work, and we would get on our bikes and like go down to the community pool and just be there all day, like literally all day, come home and just kind of hang out at home. Then mom got home eventually, and that was like what summer was for me when I was little. It was just like riding my bike around and going to the pool and stuff. And I was probably like in 3rd or 4th grade at the time, something like that. And it was fine. It was fine. Nobody's calling in the cops on anybody else's kids or anything like that, and like, sure, it was Oregon, Wisconsin. It's a small town. It was like 5,000 or 6,000 people at the time, but still, like, I hate that I have to worry that someone's going to call me, call the cops on me if I have my kids just go down to like our community pool or like just walk to school or, walk down to the gas station to get like a little Debbie or whatever.
A
I'm on a rant here. Sorry about that, but
no, I totally get you. And I would have been also because something happened when I was a kid too, when I was like 10 and it was terrible. And, it's a story. And I think that's also feeds into my paranoia about kids. Like I wouldn't feel safe letting them out. I wouldn't, somebody can just come up and take, oh gosh, let's not talk about this.
And so the Green Bay Packers.
On a lighter note, Outback Packers is weighing in and they say hello. And I'm not sure if this is gay, if this is Nick Gregory or if it's Joe, but it's Outback Packers saying, well, I see Dawn's cat didn't eat her.
Yet.
Never.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's what it is. Tasha's going to wait till you're weakened from your surgery. I would suggest defenses. Dawn, make sure to have something ready to fight her off when she inevitably comes at you next week. Look out.
When I'm weak, she's gonna watch over me. You know what she did yesterday night? We were playing on the floor with some of her toys. I got all these great new toys for her that she doesn't like, so I play with them. And so I was playing with her toy, and she was watching me. And she walked up and she like bit me in the chin, like just for I think it was a love. Those are love bites.
Love bites, sure.
But I was like, no. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for joining us, man.
Good to see you. Yeah. So those are some good superlatives. A little sad ending on that though. With your favorite, one of your favorite podcasts.
It was my favorite. I mean, I will say that without any conditions, any qualifications. That was my favorite podcast. It was. So like now. Gotta decide which one's my new favorite, and already have Last Call Lambo coming to try to claim me. I've already been designated as their historian, so they've got a good lead on a lot of other ones. So we'll see how that goes. But.
Yeah.
Anyhow, should we wrap it up, Dawn?
Let's wrap it up and let's think. Anybody out there, let us know if you're going to the Packers Bears game in Chicago for the season opener. The whole season, like for everybody, is that day, right? Yeah. The first day is going to be, yes. And Emma says, thank you, Dawn's cat. Her name is Tosh for not eating her. Oh, by the way, I might have Pepe LaFleur coming for some grandma time. I have to check with Tasha's vet to see what their thoughts are about that. But Jamie is thinking about going to the game, when the Packers play the Raiders. Oh yeah, because that's drivable.
Yeah.
So I don't like Las Vegas. I don't like anything about that place. But I crossed my mind, but I also don't love the Raiders.
Sure.
But anyway, she's going to go, and I said, well, if I can babysit, I will.
Nice. That'll be good. That'd be fun.
That'd be really fun to have them running around here again, because those two cats had so much fun together. It was mayhem. It was mayhem.
Sure.
I really had a hard time letting Pepe go. It was like 9 months before Jamie got him, and I thought about that cat every day. I never stopped missing him. Yeah.
Well, so that'll be fun if you get to have around.
Would be really great.
For a little bit.
So
that'd be great.
We're talking about it. Anywho, so
All right.
everyone's making their plans for the season already, and I love to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's wrap her up, Maddie, unless you have any final thoughts.
No, just thanks for listening, folks. If you're still listening, I think this was like an especially like rambly episode for us, and I don't mean that as a criticism, just as an observation.
Oh, incidentally, you can take up to 8 Benadryl per day, as far as I know. I think you can take 2 every 4 hours.
Consult your doctor.
No, I think it says 2 every 4 hours.
It probably does.
Yeah. I mean, but not for 24 hours. Like, I think you can take up to 8 or
up to 8. I would believe that.
Yeah, I didn't take them all at once.
Just a big mouthful of 8 Benadryl. Go for it. Why not?
Well,
all right.
Yeah.
Here we go, Don. Friends, of course. You'll find links in our show description, but I forgot to put mine in the show doc last week. So if you're looking for stuff from last week, I'm sorry. I just totally whiffed on that. But friends, of course, you'll find links in our show description for everyone we mentioned. So please check it out. Also, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan, or one or the other, or neither, whatever. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right. Because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL. Take that, Bears.
That's right.
There isn't a word for my... Is there? I don't know. My little body language there. We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod. And we look forward to seeing you next week with Matt and Katie. I won't be here.
That's right. Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.